Now what I'd like to do is start using the curvature and thickness map to start showing wear. But right now, if I take this off, it has this really ugly orange color. So I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to grab maybe this leather round here and just drop it underneath to sort of show that some of this leather had worn away and that it's starting to expose it. Now sometimes you want to go in here and turn off some of these other options. For example, the dirt layer, you probably can't see it, but what it does is it removes an extra layer of hide information. For now, I'm just going to use that as sort of a base. So let's delete this generator from here because we're going to use this just for bake lighting, and then we'll actually add one here. So I'm going to go to add. Let's go ahead. Sorry. Let's add a first. Let's add a white mask. It doesn't matter because our generator is going to adjust it. And then let's add a generator here. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select MG Mask Builder. And what's happening though is it masked everything out that I don't want, and I want to invert this so just the edges show wear, right? So you'll see there's global invert, and that's off. There's thickness, and then it shows you down here the different maps that this generator actually uses, right? So for example, if we click that as on, you can see that it actually flips it. And what it's doing here is on this corner, it's showing you that it's actually taking into account this curvature map to show wear. Now, if I pull this to the left, you can see that it completely removes it. And then if I go to the right, it controls the amount of wear that appears on the edges. Now, we are going to jump back into Maya, and we're going to create a handle and so forth. And you're going to be able to see how the ambient occlusion affects it. Right now, it's not really doing anything because for occlusion to exist, another object has to cut into another one. So I can kind of show you a quick example if we jump back into Maya here. So say I want to create this handle, right? So let's see if I still have this open. And I'm just going to make, for example, this base piece here, and then I'll duplicate it and flip it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go select our, sorry, let's select this first, and I'm going to go to Make Live, which is this right here. If you don't see it, it could be shrunk like that. And then I'm going to shift right click and go to Cube, but I want to make sure interactive creation is on. And that'll allow me to draw right onto the surface of my box. All right, and make sure you turn this off immediately. And what's cool about this is, let's delete this face on the inside. It allows us to sort of make or work on our object in real time, right? So like we can drop pieces all over it. So let me go ahead and dock this, and then I have my suitcase there. And to create this little corner piece, I like it to have a little bit of roundness opposed to just throwing an edge loop down the center. So I'm going to hit this face and hit Control E, hit W, because I want to also keep it in quads, and then just scale this down as short as you want it to go. And then I'll select both these faces, sort of move them in a little bit. Now the entirety of the object I'm going to cut in. Notice this darkness that's appearing because I have ambient occlusion on? That's my ambient occlusion layer, right? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do create this handle. So let's move this off a little bit. It might be too wide, so let me scale this in. And the thing about modeling is it's all about reworking, right? So let's go to our front view. I'm holding spacebar and holding the right mouse down and going to the front view. And I'm just going to draw a cube out from that center edge out here, right? Just to about here. So spacebar, or I'm sorry, shift right click. Oh, sorry, without this selected, hold shift right click and then go to cube. So without anything deselected, otherwise you won't get this option. So, oops, one last thing. Let's select this guy here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on make selected objects live again, and just draw out that handle across that surface. Let's go to our front or perspective view. Kind of pull that out a little bit. I'm going to go to my face mode, delete that inside face, remove make live, because anything we extrude. So what I can start to do, I'm going to delete this face too, is add a couple edge loops like this. So I'm going to insert edge loop here, and then just start to slowly edit this guy. So one more going over here, like this. And then let's just bring this face down a little bit more. just so it sort of lines up. Let's throw one more loop going in this way. And I'm going to try to get a nice curve. I'm going pretty low here because it doesn't really, because this object is going to be so small on the screen, it doesn't really matter. You can add a bunch of loops if you feel like you need, this is going to be like a hero piece, something you really want to demo for your reel. You can add a bunch and really clean it up. So I'm just going to scale that down a little bit to give me a little bit of a dimension. See that? And there's a couple different pieces that already exist in Maya, right? So if I go to create polygon primitive here, there's cylinders, cubes, cone, torus, plane, disk. Let's take a look at the torus, for example, right? So that pretty much gives us the shape we're looking for. Now remember, it's only going to be about this big on the screen. So I'm going to go pretty low in my details with this guy. So let's go to about maybe 6. I think 6 is a good, actually 5 would even work, but let's do 6. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this on the Z. Let's do 90, and then I'm going to rotate it on the X, 90. Scale that down a little bit and just rotate this. Let's go ahead and increase that section radius a little bit. Let's do 0.03. Let's do 0.025. That's good. Now I'm exaggerating it because in Engine you're not going to see it if it's so tiny. So let's go ahead and scale this up a little bit. So just so you get something like this. Now to create this little tab, I'm just going to select this face here. Control E, hit R and scale that in. Just going to scale it down like that. And then Control E one more time and extrude that out. So lots of rework going on. Something like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to unwrap this and attach it.